many in the next week or so. I think I said that to start the last one off. So we've had Swansea, now we've got Rotherham, Huddersfield, Southampton and West Brom. 5 games in the space of 2 weeks. This is the first of 3 consecutive away games. Obviously, the Southampton one being moved from end of last month because of their progression in the FA Cup, and we didn't. But hope you're all good. Kai, you're right. It is a must-win game against, let's face it, an underperforming Rotherham team. They are far from, well, the results say they're far from on it at the moment. Josh, how we doing? Rich, you're right. It was a bad performance. Ollie, no, I won't be there, which is unfortunate, but I'm knackered anyway. So with hindsight, I'm kind of glad I didn't get a ticket. Same with Huddersfield. This week's meant to be my chill week, but it's not going to be a chill week at all because I'm just really tired. So I'll sit and watch it in the comfort of my living room. Yeah, there's not really a lot more to say for Swansea, really. I just don't want to really talk about it, so I might skip the stats, to be fair. It shows we had more of the ball, but we had less shots on goal. There was a really interesting stat, though, where, we're having most of our touches in the defensive third, which I think the Swansea game highlighted that when teams set up well against us, we get exposed by it because, you look at Swansea, they move the ball quicker, and I do like Rosie's way of playing. I think it's a great way of playing football. And I think patience pays off in a lot of scenarios, but it's an odd one. It's an odd one because we were really, really too slow on Saturday. And yes, they doubled up on Philogene, they doubled up on Zaruri, they doubled up on Carvalho. But, where was the support to help them and get around that double up? We didn't exploit the gaps that doubling up on those players left, which is what it is. Jeff had a good stadium tour today. Good stuff. Pleased about that. I've done stadium tours before. It's a really, really good venue. And the head of operations, actually, Phil, he said to me that the new safety officer, because he was like safety officer before he was head of operations, and when he showed the new safety officer around, this guy had been working in Qatar for the World Cup, and as he walked around the stadium, he said, well, what we did in Qatar was basically take your blueprint and just go, whoa. So it's a great facility. It's a great facility. Just wish the council would hurry up and let us develop the land next to it. Bin Hulfair. Put it on East Park. It's out of my way. Don't get anything round. We don't get any disruption around the west. Anyway, Theo, how you doing? Great for Mika to win AFCON. Hopefully he can come back with a spring in his step and can help us conquer the championship. Jeff, you're right, they did have us just on Saturday. Theo said, do you think once we put Panda in, he'll be a sweeper keeper or send it long? Theo, that's a bit of a weird question because being a sweeper keeper is sort of the Manuel Neuer archetypal sweeper keeper is coming out your area and being comfortable with the ball at your feet, which is, we've clearly signed Pando because we believe he is comfortable with the ball at his feet, right? But Allsop can do that. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet. But Allsop's long ball distribution, his eye for a long ball pass is brilliant. So you can bid both, really. Mark, how you doing? Has anyone told you look like KLP? I can't say I've ever had that one, to be honest. I'm not really sure how to respond to that. Anyway, I missed the match. Was it as bad as I'm hearing? Yes, it was dreadful. Don't understand why he's not starting strikers when we struggle to create any chances versus Millwall. I think that was don't change a winning team, which is fine. But there's a defeat, and now you can change that team and put Connolly, Sharp, Ohio, etc. in, right? Although I do think we missed a lap, a hell of a lot. I think we missed the lap more than we missed Philogene. And I think we've missed Seri more than we've missed Philogene. In games like the Swansea game, it shows Slater's weaknesses in terms of, like, Slater as an industrial player is brilliant, right? Got no faults with him at all. But in terms of like a creative spark, I think he lacks that. What was I going to say? Yeah, in terms of a creative spark, he lacks that. Whereas if you play Seri where Morton was playing and Morton further forward, he's got a bit of that in his game that Slater doesn't have. So you can have Seri sitting back and using his eye for a pass to pick out any pass that exists. Whereas Morton sitting back limits him in terms of what he can do further forward. I think we are now. Seri's won it. We are desperate to have Mika back. So desperate. Doesn't suit Slater playing as a double pivot either. Good point. So we've been unable to get 3 wins in a row under Rosenior. Is it Rosenior's tactics and stubbornness to change things when things aren't going our way, or is it the players? Bit of both. Bit of both for me. It's up to the players. The players we've got in this team are good enough to see, right, Philogene's been doubled up on. Where are the gaps? Use them. But I suppose if they're told to be right, when Philogene's doubled up on, just pass it straight back and allow them to sit in. That's where there's a bit of an issue. Jeff, as Coyle doubtful, Christios Slater at right back? Good question, and you bring us into team news nicely. Louis Coyle is a doubt for the first of 3 consecutive away trips, having been substituted with a hamstring problem. That should say in the second half against Swansea. Mika still, he played yesterday, so he's not going to be back. Might be back for Saturday though. Liam Delap and James Fairlong with knee injuries remain absent. There is the possibility of Louis Coyle still being fit, which is an interesting one. Which is a very, very, very interesting one indeed. Cyrus has still only had 1 training session. Well, no, he'll have had 2, including this one today. But he's still not had a wealth of training sessions. But Slater at right back the other day also didn't do a mesmerising job. So it's interesting. Who would I rather have? I'd rather have a fit Louis Coyle, let's be honest. But we'll see. We'll see. Christie starting, no thanks. I think people forget the attackers we have in this team are all young apart from Sharp. Young players can be inconsistent. Sharping for Fabio or Tufan against Rotherham for me. Is it just me or Slater kind of gone backwards this season? I see what you're saying, Coxie. I think his injury is setting back. At the start of the season, I think he was brilliant. I think his injury is setting back a little bit. Billy Sharp needs carting off to a care home. What a pointless player on the pitch. Off the pitch, he may bring experience, but wow, he's past it now. Not going to lie, Coyley puts a shift in, but I just really don't like him. He's been one of our best players this year. I disagree with that. Anyway, let's get through some of this, shall we? Ref watch. It's Lee Doty, 2 liners, and Nigel Lugg and Rob Smith, referee. Fourth official, is Dean Whiteston. At least I've not said Jeffery today. Stats. Like I say earlier, way more possession. Nothing to show for it. 3 shots on target all game. Common problem. Rotherham's team then in their last game, which was a 3-0 defeat to Leeds. It was Victor Johansson in goal. Dan Ayala, by the way, since Liam Richardson's come in, their new manager, I don't think he's played a minute. He came in as like an emergency signing. Crucially, in time to get him signed for this year. Dan Ayala, ex-City player, as well as Clucas, lovely autograph there. Tom Eaves, the GOAT, and Lee Peltier, which is one of the strangest little autographs I've possibly ever seen. Josh Bowler's autograph has changed since he was at City. Tommins, to be fair to him, has got quite a nice one. Yeah. That's all we'll do for this year. What else have we got in here? I tell you what, Zaruri's autograph is a strange little one. I saw that for the first time the other day. It's a weird little autograph, that. Carvalho's, when he signed as well, his autograph on the graphic looked well nice. When you see him in person, look at that. That's awful. Autograph psychology with Joe here. Evo's is nice. Evo Pandas is nice. Fairlongs isn't anything special. Delaps is nice. Harry Vaughan's got a nice one. Tyler Morton's got a nice one. Billy Sharp's got a nice little squiggle there. And then there's Ryan Giles, which is quite a decent one. Anyway, away from autographs. Interesting. Sorry. Anyway. Right, so. Jesus Christ, watch. Shut up. Right, so in their last game, it's in squad number order, which is awkward. So they had Cafu in there. Sam Clucas. Jordan Hugill started up front. Tommy Eaves on the bench. Andy Rinamoto was on the bench. Lee Peltier started. Hakeem Odafin started. Sean Morrison started. Christ Tay started, as did Sebastian Revan. Peter Kioso started. I've missed loads here, haven't I? No, I've only missed one. Where's Jamie Lindsay? There. So awkward that it's in squad number order. Really, I'm not jumping about because I can't really be bothered and I'm quite tired. But a lot of ex-Tigers in there. Dino's got the best autograph around. I saw you waiting after the game. Was that for that was for Josh Timon? Yeah. What do we think of Abdul Kadir Ermer? I think Abdush came on and looked really good. And spoiler alert for my predicted lineup later on. I think he'll play. I think he'll start. I honestly think he will. My thing's frozen now. I can't select current form. There we go. Current form, we'll start with ours first. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 defeats and 2 wins in our last 5 in all competitions. Lost to Norwich in the league, lost to Birmingham in the FA Cup third round replay, then beat Sunderland and Millwall back-to-back, both by 1-0 scorelines, then lost 1-0 to Swansea. Rotherham 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We won't count that as it's against Prem opposition. 5. Drew 2-0 with Blackburn. Lost 1-0 to Stoke, drew 1-0 with Middlesbrough, lost 2-0 to Southampton, then lost 3-0 to Leeds. I believe they've won like once in 10 in all competitions. I think I've got that right. Something like that. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. But it's the Championship, and anyone can beat anyone. Do I think there's a chance that Morton's sold because of Klopp leaving? Depends who comes in and whether they want to bring midfielders in or not. And it also depends if they think that Morton's ready because, let's be honest, Wataru Endo isn't getting any younger, even though he's only just signed. Instead of Slater, who's coming off for a Mer for Slater, I don't think it'll be for Slater because having a midfield 3 of Morton, Slater, and Carvalho leaves us very, very, very exposed defensively. That's all I'll say. So I think it will be for one of Carvalho or Zaruri. You'll see who I think it is. Why do I think Rossini just can't get 3 wins on the bounce? Interesting question, that. I don't know. But all I know is we do desperately need to put a run of games together to try and push us into that top 6. So, the league table, looking at that top 6 then, we've got a game in hand and we're only 2 points behind 6th, but we need to get winning some games now. We've got we've got Rotherham and Huddersfield, which if you look where they are in the league, these are 2 games we simply have to win. No denying that. Southampton, it's our game in hand, but they're on like the longest unbeaten run in all of Europe at the minute. So, although we could have got a result against them earlier in the season, I don't expect anything from that game. Then after that, West Brom, we need to get a result out of that because they're around us. They're in and around us. Daryl DK is injured. We need to get a result in that one. That's for sure. After West Brom, who have we got? It's Preston, isn't it? I think. Is it Preston? I'm fairly certain it's Preston. Then we've got Birmingham and Leicester. Consecutive home games. Leicester, I don't expect anything from. Birmingham, I do. Simple as that. I've forgotten to get around the grounds up. I always forget around the grounds. If there's ever a segment I forget, it's around the grounds. So we'll get it up now. Bob's your uncle. There we go. Right. Let's have a look at the other games on Championship Matchday 32 then. We've got Leicester versus Sheffield. These are tomorrow at 7:45, by the way. Leicester versus Sheffield Wednesday. Swansea versus Leeds. Rotherham versus us. Norwich versus Watford. And Birmingham versus Blackburn. The two 8:00 kickoffs tomorrow are Bristol City versus Southampton. And West Bromwich Albion versus Cardiff City. On Wednesday, 7:45 kickoffs are Huddersfield versus Sunderland. Plymouth versus Coventry. Preston versus Middlesbrough. And Stoke v QPR. And the 8:00 game is Millwall versus Ipswich. I believe we've had a bit more senior discussion on chat. I think players get overconfident after 2 wins, take the foot off the gas. Interesting. Theo, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, to be honest with you. It varies from season to season. Why did we attack South Stand first? That will just be because of the way that the toss was won and stuff like that. That's all it'll have been. Unless they try and attack in the North second half again, in which case it didn't work, did it? I'm surprised Swansea saw our pitch and gave up their style of play. Yeah, they did go really direct. But yeah, our pitch is a mess. 1.5 million they're doing it in the summer. Because I think what they usually do, correct me if I'm wrong if anyone knows, but I think they usually just take like... They usually just take like... It hasn't worked. Usually, I think they just take the topsoil. Yeah, it has. They just take like the top layer of the pitch off because it's a hybrid pitch. But I think they're going to go right down and get it all up because God knows it needs it. My God, it's in terrible, terrible condition. And then once it's laid, it needs like 6 weeks to settle, basically. Whether it'll get that, don't know. Depends how the rugby season falls. I think as the pitches get better, our football should get better. Memorable match. It's the last trip to the New York Stadium from last season. 1 4-2 goals from Jacob Greaves, Cyrus Christie, Ryan Longman and Ozan Tufan gave us the win that day. Our team was Nathan Baxter in goal. Back four was Cyrus Christie, Tobias Figueiredo, Alfie Jones and Jacob Greaves. Midfield was Jean-Michel Seri, Ryan Woods and Regan Slater, with Doherty and Pelkas wide and Longman up top. The bench was Matt Ingram, the goalkeeper, Louis Coyle, Ozan Tufan, Dokan Sinek, Sean McLaughlin, Oscar Estupinian and Brandon Fleming, with Andy Dawson in temporary charge that day. And then the last time we played these guys earlier this season at the MKM, 4-1 win. Tyler Morton and Scott Twine netted, as well as Jaden Philogene brace. And Rotherham had a consolation scored on the hour mark by Grant Hall. Our team that day was Ryan Alsop in goal. Back four was Christie, Jones, Greaves and Coyle. Midfield three was Seri, Morton and Twine, with Lakilo and Philogene wide and Liam Delap up top. The bench was as follows: Matt Ingram, Sean McLaughlin, Ozan Tufan, Greg Doherty, Adama Traore, Harry Vaughan, Andy Smith, Regan Slater and Aaron Connolly, with Liam Rossignol in charge. Wayne Carlisle there in temporary charge of Rotherham. And our record against these, it's very, very good. I think the stat is they've beaten us twice in 20 years. So that's not too bad. From 1999 through to now, they've only beaten us twice. Yes, there was a gap of 12 years where we didn't play them, but we can ignore that. Last five then. 2, 4, 5. 2-2 draw in February 2019 in the Championship. 4th of January 2020, we beat them 3-2 in the FA Cup. Tom Eaves hat-trick in the FA Cup third round. Last season, what we touched on, the 4-2 win. Drew 0-0 with them at home and then beat them 4-1 at home this season. Shared shirts today. It's a niche one. Kevin Ellison. What a player. He was your sort of non-league journeyman style player, and he was with us from 2005 to 2006. 41 appearances, 2 goals. John Rotherham in 2009 was with them through to 2011. 73 appearances, 15 goals for the Millers. Got a lot of chat activity. Oh my God. Ollie's put his score prediction for every single game here. Seri for Huddersfield, maybe. Seri for Southampton, definitely. That's what I'll say. That's what I think at the minute. Watch our away form improve playing on other pitches. Well, yeah. I think we've lost some of our better groundsmen as well, someone said to me. So we'll see on that one. Predicted team then, Allsop in goal. Back four, Christian, Jones, Greaves and Giles. Midfield, Morton, Slater and Carvalho. Abdul Kadir Umar on the right. Philogene on the left. And Noah Ohio in up top. The bench, Panda, McLaughlin, Tufan, Doherty, Traore, Sharp, Ashby, Connolly and Zaruri. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think he'll drop Carvalho. I think it's more likely we see Zaruri drop than Carvalho, to be honest. Philogene will get dropped. Tufan almost definitely will. And I think Abdush showed promise when he came on. So deserves a shot. Deserves a shot at it for me. Predicted scores, everyone. I am quite optimistic. I'm going to go 2-0. Not the goal fest we've seen in 2 of the last 3 games, but I think it will be a solid 2-0 win for us against Rotherham. If you had to press me on goal scorers, I think Carvalho, so I think he needs one. Because in the games he's played so far, he hasn't like exactly stamped his authority on games like some of us expected he would. So I think he needs a game like that. And this could be a game where he has that. And I think Ohio will get one as well if he starts. Theo says 3-1 Giles against his former loanee club. Like every other championship team. Philogene and Greaves 2-1. 1-1, not being optimistic after Saturday's shit show. 3-0 Rotherham, Eves hat-trick. Now, I'd love it for Tom Eves because he's the GOAT, but would not be good for us. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you're heading to Rotherham tomorrow, enjoy it. I'll be watching from the comfort of my living room on the red button on this remote. See you later. Take care. Up the Tigers. Goodbye.